Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might like it too. Now, today I want to tell you about another. The last three Oracle decks I got have been like my favorites of all time. Like, no cap. I am just like breathlessly like in love with these. So this one is not new either. This one came from Llewellyn. It was $26.99 US, and it says here that it was actually created in 2015 by Tess Whitehurst and Anne Wertheim. I think Tess Whitehurst might have passed away because I also took one of her courses, and I think that I was told that. I'd have to look it up. But underneath this video, I will put a link to this in case anybody wants to purchase it. I'll put a link to where I got it from. It's illustrated by Anne Wertheim, and it's called The Magic of Flowers Oracle. Now, this deck, in my opinion, is very unassuming. When you first get it, it's like, okay, Magic of Flowers, yeah. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, whatever, if you like flowers a lot, that could be exciting to you. But if you're like me and, you're pretty much ambivalent. You like flowers, but you don't go gaga over them. You're not even realizing that. It didn't even hit my radar at first. The only thing I don't like about this deck is this box. All of this is perfect. Perfect. I mean, 20 out of 10 stars, okay? But this box, I do not like. This whole setup, I'm not feeling. And I tried to modify it, but I didn't do well. So I'm probably going to end up just putting these into a bag, and I'm going to have to get a bag big enough for this great guidebook. So let's move that out the way. The guidebook is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. So let's talk about it. I'm going to show you the cards, and I'm going to show you the guidebook last. Because I know people really, they want to see the cards. They're like, girl, show us the cards. So let's see which one of these card holders I can use. Probably this one. Let's pull it down some. Let's get that glare off of it as much as we can. Now, like I said, they're not in order. They come in alphabetical order, but they're not in order because I've done 3 or 4 readings with these. So the very first card that you see here is, oh, look at that beautiful butterfly. So each one, I can't say the names of all these flowers. I'm like, where did these flowers even come from, to be honest with you? I haven't even heard of some of these, but these cards are stunning, as you're about to find out. So I'm going to show them to you. I'm going to show you all of them so you can see why I'm so in love with these. They're just so beautiful. Another issue with them, if you're somebody like me who likes to photograph your cards, they are glossy, which isn't bad because it does make them easy to shuffle. Glossy cards are very easy to shuffle, but they are not easy to photograph when you have ring lights and things like that. So it's very difficult. You got to tilt it properly and know where to put it. But they're so pretty. Look at that. I love cherry blossoms. Those might be cherry blossoms. That's not what the card. No, they're not cherry blossoms. That's a different card. That's a different flower, because I do see cherry blossom in here. But these pink flowers, I'm a pink person, so anything pink is on point with me. So that's why I fell in love with them initially, was because I really just thought that the artwork was gorgeous. As you can see, it's very sharp. But I didn't think that this deck was the kind of deck that I would really use. I was like, they're pretty. And I've seen them like, they've been in my Amazon wish. I'm mad at myself how long they were in my cart. They were in my cart, not even on the wish list. Like, I knew I was going to buy them, and I just kept putting them off to buy other things. If I had really paid attention, I would have bought these in 2015 like I should have. But better late than never, right? And look at that. Look at the fire. Like, amazing. Just amazing. So what initially drew them to me, of course, is this gorgeous artwork, And when I first got them, I was like, whoa, look at that. Dahlia. So there's a beauty to the art. There is diversity too. The people, the women, it's mostly women. There is a gentleman in here, or two, I think. We're about to find out. But look at that pink hair. There's a gentleman or two in here, but you can see like they're from different parts of the world, and the sizes I don't see a big difference with. They're pretty much body beautiful, and I know some people that's just not their thing, you know. There you go, get that glare off of there. Some people like body beautiful just isn't their thing, and for me it doesn't really bother me. I really do like to see diverse sizes though, so if I was going to change anything about the deck, that would be the one thing. I would put different sized people in here, because they're all pretty much, like I said, around the same average size. So I probably would change the sizes, and maybe even the ages. You know, I like to see a lot of diversity in decks. I like to see different ages. I like to see different groups of people represented from the different communities. You know, people, like I've seen people in wheelchairs, people who had amputees. I want to see all of that, because this world is all of that, and I want to see all of it in my deck. So this deck I'm still in love with, but that's the one thing about it that I would do is add, and to be fair, I was going to say add more diversity, but to be fair, I would add more diversity to a lot of decks. Even some decks that have diversity, I would add a little bit more. So I just think it's great when you're trying to, you know, when you're trying to dive into, you know, tarot with oracle cards, because these are really healing methods. So I love for people to see themselves in them. I remember I did a reading once for a woman, and I've always collected diverse decks. And I did a reading for a woman once, and she had had many, many, many readings, but she had never had a reading where there was a woman of color. So I was reading her with a deck. It was the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. And I pulled one card, I'll never forget it, and it looked just like her. And you guys should have seen the way she lit up. I mean, she was just sitting there, you know, listening to the reading, enjoying herself, you know. She was a very nice lady. And we were having a great conversation, and I pulled that card, and her whole face lit up like a Christmas tree. I had never seen anything like it. And she was like, where did you get that deck? And she was like, you know, all the time I've been doing readings, or, you know, getting readings, I have never seen somebody have a deck with people of color. And at that point, I had a lot of them. I had like 10 at that point. Now I have many, many more. But she had been getting readings for all these years and had never seen that. And she was just stunned. She took a picture of the card for her phone. She was stunned. And it really, I could see it changed her energy. It really made her feel even that much better about herself and about the reading. And, you know, and we, to this day, we still talk and still give her readings on the internet. Great lady. But I never forget how happy that made her, how delighted that made her. And since then, other people have said that to me. So I've always tried to gear towards, you know, that direction. So when people look at, you know, if they're looking at the cards, or if I send them a picture online, because I read mostly online. I used to read in person back then, but now I read mostly online on the phone. And if I send them a picture, here's one of our gentlemen. So we finally found a gentleman. So we do have that, like I told you, that gender diversity. And some of these, as you can see, have been animals and flowers. So because of the reaction of that woman, I never forgot that. That wasn't when I first started reading. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I try to have cards that represent, you know, whatever my client may look like. You know, that different depictions are in the deck whenever possible, you know. And I have different ones. I have some that are all one culture. Like if I'm reading somebody who's Native American, I have a Native American deck. It's called the Vision Quest deck. It's really beautiful. I have another one that is a Hindu deck. So I could use that for that particular culture. So I do have some that are culturally specific. I have an African American deck. I have two of those now that I think about it. Maybe more, maybe a lot more. Because I'm just thinking like I have other ones that aren't called that, but that's what they are. So it just depends. I do have some culturally specific decks, but all the rest of them are mostly very, very diverse. And I have noticed that in the past couple of years, the past like 5 years, I've noticed that more and more creators are realizing that that is important to many of us. Not just me, and not all of us either. Some people are like, whatever you're going to produce. But to many of us, I see it talked about in forums on Facebook. I see it discussed in reviews underneath people's decks. Like I saw this one guy's deck, and it was all people of European descent, and somebody of European descent wrote underneath it, "Where's everybody else? Like, where's the rest of the globe?" Because it was something called, I forgot the name of the deck, but it was basically a deck about the world. And it was like, well, okay, where's the rest of the world? And I laughed when I read it, but he was 100% correct. Oh, there's a little boy. So we got some gender differences in gender and age. So we have older and younger. So that's good. Let me get that glare so you can see that. There you go. Oh, he's blowing a dandelion. Remember we used to do that when we were kids? Some things are just universal, man. We used to do that when we were kids. We would make a wish. You blow, is that what that one says, make a wish? No, it doesn't say, it just says dandelion. But that's what we did when we were kids. You pick up the dandelion and you made a wish. And you put the sunflower under your chin, and legend had it could tell if you were going to have a girl or a boy. I did have a girl though, so maybe the legend was right. They always told me I would have a girl. Isn't this gorgeous? I love this. When I saw this, I was like, so as you can see, this artwork, and she looks like she might be from Asia. This artwork is, oh my God, beautiful. Love it so much. The backgrounds of it, I love the sky. Okay, here's another guy. He's Native American looking, very attractive. Man, look at his body, yo. My goodness. And that's why I said a lot of them, like what they call body perfect, they definitely have very beautiful bodies. But I would like to see, like I said, larger beautiful bodies too. Different kinds of beautiful bodies. And older people too. We got the younger ones going on. Like for instance, this young lady here is about 13. So we do have some good age differences in here, but we don't have any grandmoms or no grandpops. I like to see the elders represented too. But I'm gonna tell you something. This deck, the last 3 decks I did, this one included, are the most beautiful decks that I own in my collection. Seriously. And I have some beautiful decks. All the ones by Elena Fairchild are beautiful. I have some really gorgeous decks. But these last 3, this Magic of Flowers, the Ancestor Spirits, and the Animal, it's one of them. It's called, what is it called? Spirit Animals. I think it's called Spirit of the Animals Oracle. That's the other one. These are gorgeous. Just beautiful. All right, we're almost done. I'm down to the last few. Look at her. Oh my God. She's on the box if I'm not mistaken. Look at her. Like, seriously. Like, she got it going on. This is the cherry blossom. So those were definitely different than those. The little mama on there with the birds. I got this card the other day. That was my card for the day. And the tulip. And the last one looks like God is all set. I really swear it do. If it's not her, it's definitely one of her sisters. So if you get this gorgeous deck, she's number 1 too. She's on the first. So you will go to her and it will tell you exactly what it means. Be impeccable. The key words are authority, confidence, elegance, excellence, intelligence, intuition, and inner knowing. knowledge of our own divinity, and self-mastery. These are all lessons we learned in priestess training. All right. Oh, no wonder. You're a treasured spiritual descendant of an ancient order of magical priests and priestesses. That's why I picked up on it. Isn't that something I didn't even know? Your presence on earth at this time is not an accident, and the issue you're asking about directly relates to the spiritual responsibilities and learning opportunities that your soul chose to take on before being born in your present form. As such, the highest honor and most impeccable conduct are required of you now. This is definitely mine. This is definitely for me. I didn't even have to pull it, and I know it's for me. And then after you read that part, you can look in here, and they continue to talk more to you about what the card means. And then they tell you some more key phrases. You can even turn them into affirmations if you so choose. And it tells you here and over here, it says to bring this particular flower. I cannot pronounce it. What is that? Agapanthus into your garden or home. Spend time with Agapanthus or take the homeopathic flower essence remedy. So I would have to research it a little bit more to know exactly what that is. They just wet your whistle with this, you know, as far as the flower is concerned. So you'll know about the flower and you'll be able to get more information. But the deck itself is really about the key word that you get on underneath the flower. So I love it because it's like, okay, if you want to learn about flowers, this is great. And look how substantial, look how hefty this is. Like, come on. Let me show you the back in case anybody wants to read it. You can pause. And I'm going to show you this, the cardstock before we leave. It's not the sturdiest. It's very glossy and it's thin. But I love that. If you're used to, like, for instance, the modern spellcasters tarot, is very similar to that cardstock. Very, very similar. I think it's a little thinner though, as you can see, maybe just a hair thinner than that. But I love shuffling these. The only thing that bothers me is trying to photograph them, but shuffling them is perfect. These glossy kind of cards, everybody will tell you, are great for shuffling. And they're a good size. You know, if you have small hands, you can manage these. If you have big hands, you can manage these. These are not bad at all to manage. And this is the back of them in case you wanted to see a good shot of it. So I definitely recommend these cards. I would say get a bag. Get yourself a nice bag, a nice big one that can fit this book and these cards in it, because the box I'm really not feeling. Hopefully when they reprint them, they'll change the box, but in the meantime, I strongly suggest getting something else to keep them in. People keep them in all kind of clever bags, all kind of things. I've used tins, all kind of stuff. So I would suggest getting something else to keep it in, but it's definitely worth getting. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking out my video. And if you like it, please leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, and let me know, do you have this beautiful deck? See you later.